Hi everyone! Welcome to Nature Walks with Ruth. Today we're going to take a walk by the ocean. We'll talk about the unique habitat where the ocean meets the coast and check out some of the animals that live there. Then we'll record what we find as a new entry to our field journal. Let's get started. Over the past few months, we've met many of the animals that live on the fringe between ocean and land. This habitat, called the intertidal zone, is a combination of sandy beaches, rock-strewn coastline, and constantly shifting tides. And no matter how many times I visit, I always discover something new. As I was on my walk, I could see some geese standing out on the rocks, so I grabbed my camera to take a better look. This is a brant, a small species of goose that spends the winter along the Atlantic coastline. These birds are much smaller than the Canada geese that I'm used to seeing around here. They're pretty cute. There was a small group of them foraging together on the rocks, but with the gusting wind and the flying surf making the rock slick underfoot, it didn't look very easy to stay standing. Like many birds, brants gather in flocks. That's because there's strength and safety in numbers. If you're with friends, you can coordinate as a group. By communicating and paying attention to each other, everybody shares the responsibility of looking out for danger, and everybody shares the reward of a safe place to forage. After some time, the small crew of brants left the rocks behind. I followed them to a nearby beach, where the rest of the flock floated in the bay. The birds paddled against the tide, tipping forward to dunk their heads under the water. They were eating eelgrass, a plant which grows in underwater meadows. Originally, brants only ate eelgrass. However, this plant is sensitive, and disturbances such as disease, pollution, or increased motorboat activity can wipe out an entire eelgrass meadow. In 1931, a disease wiped out almost all of the eelgrass in the North Atlantic. And when the eelgrass began to disappear, the brant population suffered as well. The few brant flocks that survived had found a new food source: sea lettuce, a type of algae. Meanwhile, scientists worked hard to protect the remaining meadows and even introduced eelgrass back to the areas it had historically existed. Slowly, the brant population bounced back, but with one key difference. These brants ate both eelgrass and sea lettuce. Their more flexible diet will help them to survive future hardships. Now that we've taken some time to get to know the brant, it's time to add an entry to our field journal. As usual, I started out with the date and the name of the animal that I'd found. Then I wrote a short description. A brant is a small species of goose. They have dark plumage, with a black-colored head, neck, and tail, and a gray body. They kind of look like a smaller version of a Canada goose. Brant have a short, stubby beak and a white half ring at the base of their short neck. Next, I'll draw a simple sketch of the animal. These birds are a pretty distinctive shape. I focused on capturing their neck and the shape of their head. Their body is kind of shaped like a football. The head and neck are dark and glossy, but the rest of their body is more of a gray color with some patterning around the wings. I'll put a scale for reference, since their size is an easy way to identify them. These birds look to be around 2 feet long. Finally, I'll add some additional notes about what I observed. The brants stuck together in groups, and I saw a lot of social behavior. I wonder what the group's social structure is. Do they have ranks within the flock? Is there a top goose? There were far too many birds for me to tell just by watching. They foraged along the beach as well as on top of the rocks, and seemed to be eating mostly eelgrass, although I did catch a few with sea lettuce. With that, we finished up our journal entry. As the sun set, the brant flock finished foraging for the day. They swam deeper into the ocean, bobbing against the waves, some dipping underwater to catch last-minute snacks on the way. I went on this nature walk in late spring. Then I packed my bags and got on a plane headed for California. I'll miss exploring the Massachusetts coast, but there's a whole new ecosystem for me to discover. I hope you'll join me. Thank you so much for coming on a nature walk with me. Have you seen any interesting creatures lately? Come visit the Palmer Public Library and tell us all about it. Take care, everyone.